Hello world, I'm Kyrib. So if you've checked out my channel recently, you might notice that the description says this channel is all about apps and games. And you might be looking at my videos and be like, yo, where are all the games? All I see you doing is making pictures out of little squares. That's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be going over a really cool game called SuperTuxKart. SuperTuxKart is a kart racing game, much like a certain other game that is quite popular. Do I have to tell you which one it is? Or can you guess? Maybe it's not a clone. Clone is a strong word, but there's a lot of similarities going on between these two games. So it should be a lot of fun. Today I'm going to show you how to install this game, and I'm going to play a few rounds, and we'll see how it goes. Alright, let's begin! Alright, first I'm going to show you how to install SuperTuxKart on Linux. And since SuperTuxKart was made for Linux, it's not surprising that this is probably the easiest operating system to install the game on. So first, open up a terminal and type in the command sudo apt install SuperTuxKart, all in lowercase, and hit enter. And confirm, yes, I want to install this, and let it install. That should be all you have to do. Now, I'm on Debian, so I have to use this command. Different distributions of Linux might have different install commands. Here's some examples of what those might look like. I haven't tested them out, though. You can also do the same thing, but with a graphical user interface. With the software store or the software manager, you can open that up and search for SuperTuxKart, and you can choose to install it. From there, it does the same thing behind the scenes. And once it's finished installing, you can play it. It probably will install under the Games category if you're looking for it. And that's all there is to it. If you're using a Windows or Mac computer, you can still install and play SuperTuxKart, and I'll show you how to do that. To demonstrate this, I'm using virtual machines, but it should work the same way on your computer. So, if you're on a Mac, go ahead and open Safari. Navigate to the SuperTuxKart website. Click on the Mac download option. Go ahead and get yourself a snack while it downloads. And once that's finally done, it should be in the downloads folder. And you can copy it out of there and paste it into the applications folder. And that should be all you have to do. If you want to make a desktop shortcut, click and drag the icon onto the desktop and it should make a shortcut for you. And that's it. The process is really similar on Windows. Open up a web browser and go to the SuperTuxKart website. This time, select the Windows download option. This will download an installer program that will install SuperTuxKart onto your system. When it's done, it should be in your Downloads folder. Go ahead and double-click on the installer file and it will install the game onto your computer. It should install it into the Programs folder on your C drive. If you want to make a shortcut, you can right-click on the application and click Create Shortcut, and then drag that onto your desktop. And then you're good to go. Alright, that should get you guys up and running with SuperTuxKart, and you can start playing it. Go ahead and skip to this timestamp if you want to get right into the gameplay, but for those interested, I want to show a secondary way to install this game on Linux because I just found it interesting, and I think the only reason you'd want to do it this way is if, for some reason, the first method that I already showed you didn't work for some reason. Like, your distribution just doesn't have it. Like, the game just wasn't available for your distribution. You'd have to download it from the website. Or if you want, like, a more up-to-date version of the game, but it's a little more complicated. So if you just want to get right into the gameplay, go ahead and skip on over there. Otherwise, follow along with me and I'll show you this alternate way to do it on Linux, because there's always multiple ways to do everything on Linux. So, go to the SuperTuxKart website. Choose the Linux download. It will download a compressed archive of the game. And you can extract that, and it will extract a folder, and this is the game. If you go into the folder, you'll see that there's a run game script. If you click on that, it will actually load the game. That's it. It will load the game right there. That's kind of all you have. That's the other way to get it on your computer. So you could just leave this as it is and let it live in your downloads folder and just click on the script anytime you want to run it, but I think it is worth your time to kind of install it on your computer a little better so it isn't, cluttering up the downloads folder. I'll show you two ways to do that. One of them is more of a local install is like in your home folder, and the other one is like a more global installation that's be accessible from every place on your system. So I think that those are the two best methods. I'll show you both of those, starting with the local method. First thing you need to do is open up a file explorer and enable hidden files. If you right click somewhere in the window, you can check the enable hidden files option, and when you do that, a bunch of files and folders are going to show up that you probably didn't know existed because they're hidden by default. And the one we're interested in is the .local folder. You go inside the .local folder, you should see a bin folder. If it's not there, you can create one, and this is a great place to put our game folder. So drag the SuperTuxKart game into the local bin folder. And now we need to let the computer know that it exists in here. So the way we need to do that is by editing the desktop file. The desktop file is inside the data folder. You go in the data folder and you can see the .desktop file. We need to make a couple changes to it. So open it up in a text editor, and there's a lot of stuff in here, but there's only one line that we need to change, and it's this one right here. This is the line that tells the desktop shortcut basically where the game executable file is. In our case, it's the run game script. So we need to tell it where that is. Go back to where the run game script is located. If you right click on that and click on properties, you can see the full file path to the game. So we can copy that and paste it in this line. And then copy the name of the run script. Paste that at the end. So now the desktop file should know where the SuperTuxKart game is. So save the file and close out. Now we need to make sure that the desktop file has execution permissions so that, it can run. So right-click on that, click Properties, click Permissions. Make sure that the executable permissions checkbox is checked. You can close out of that. We're almost there. The last thing we have to do is copy the desktop file to a specific location so that the computer will see it. So we need to copy it to the Share Applications folder. This will let the computer know that the SuperTuxKart game exists in the bin folder. So back in the same spot where the bin folder is, there's a Share folder. So go into the Share folder and go into the Applications folder and paste the desktop file in there. Now it should show up in the Applications menu. It should probably be under Games. You may need to log out and log back in for it to refresh and know it's there, but it should work. And then from there you can just run the game like any normal app, or you can create a desktop shortcut. And that's the local method. Okay, let's rewind to where we just downloaded the file. And we'll now do it the global install method. It's basically the same thing as the local install, except it kind of installs it more for the entire computer, not just your home folder. But it's essentially the same thing, we just copy it sort of to a different location. We can also do this entirely in the terminal, which means it looks really cool and looks all technical, and you can feel like a real Linux nerd and a computer wizard because you're just doing this all in the terminal. So this is a lot of fun. This is the way I did it on my computer. So I'll show you how to do it. Go ahead and open a terminal, and first thing we got to do is copy the game, the whole game folder, to the opt folder. The opt folder is basically where user installed software goes, like custom installed software, so it's a good place to put it, I think. So, if we go to the opt folder and take a look-see, the game should be right in there. Go into the game folder, and there's the run script that runs the game that we talked about. So now we need to open up a second terminal. I told you this gives off Linux computer nerd vibes. So open a second terminal and cd into the data directory to edit the desktop file, so that the desktop file, knows where the run script is so that it can run it successfully. So we're going to open that file in Nano. Nano is basically a text editor, but runs in the terminal. Pretty cool. So I'll scroll down, and there's the execution path. We need to edit that line and tell it where the run script is. Go back to the first terminal and copy the path location. And the file name, and paste it in there. Save and exit. Now we have to change the permissions of the desktop file so it's allowed to execute. Do that with chmod +X for add execution permissions. We're going to add that to the desktop file. Alright, save and that's all we got to do there. Lastly, we got to copy the desktop file to the user share applications folder so that the computer menu can find it in the opt folder. So we're going to copy the desktop file to the applications folder. And that's really all you got to do. But if you really want to go the extra mile, you can add this to the system path environment variable. It's just kind of a way to be extra thorough. So I did that, and it's pretty cool. I'll show you how to do that real fast. First thing we gotta do is create a link to the run script. So you do that by running ln-s, create a soft link to the run game script, and we're gonna call it SuperTuxKart. That's a good name. You do an ls on this directory, you'll see that there's our link to the run script. So, a link is basically like a desktop file, but for the command line, basically, I think. Now we gotta, add this location to our path environment variable. So open up another terminal window and cd into the etc folder, the etc folder, or the
the etc folder, whatever you want to call it. And in here, we need to edit the profile file. The profile file is basically where the computer will like figure out where programs are on the computer, and it's where the path environment variable is kind of set. So we can add the location of the SuperTuxKart game to the path variable in there. So go ahead and open that in Nano. We're going to add the SuperTuxKart location to the path variable. Do that by doing export path. So we're going to append to the path variable this new location. And we'll copy the location of the game. And paste it there. So it's going to append that to the path. Save and exit. So now that should be all you have to do. You need to relog though to have the changes take effect. When you log back in, you should see it's visible in the applications. You can run it from here. You can create a desktop shortcut if you'd like. And you can even find it in the terminal by typing which SuperTuxKart. It'll show you, oh yeah, it's hanging out in the opt folder. There's the game. And you can even run it from the terminal, which looks super cool. I hope that wasn't all too confusing and somebody benefited from that. That's it. I'm done geeking out over installing this game. Let's start playing it now. Alright, it's time to load up the game. When you load up for the first time, it'll want you to create a username. Since I've already run this game before, I've already set up mine. But you don't have to enter in any personal information, just a username, so that's nice. And you'll be taken to the main menu. This is where you can set up races and play challenges and stuff like that. I'll briefly go through the big icons here first. This is the race mode. This is the one you'll probably want to use. This is where you can set up races and race against the computer karts, single player. So first, it'll ask you to select a kart. Notice how some of them are locked? I'll show you how to unlock karts in a little bit. So pick a kart. Now it asks you to select a difficulty, like really easy. My first game that I played, I was really terrible at the game, and I really wish I recorded it because that would have been really funny. But even though I was horrible at the game, I still managed to come in first place somehow. So a really easy game mode if you're really just starting out. You'll probably move on to intermediate pretty fast. And expert is actually pretty hard, so those are the settings. The next page is to select a track, and there are a lot of really cool tracks you can pick. So pick the map that you want to use. The last page is to select settings like number of karts, how many laps, things like that, and then you can start the race. The escape key pauses the game and lets you quit back to the main menu. I didn't know about that before. I just found that out. The next big icon that's really a lot of fun is the story mode. The first time you click on the story mode, it'll actually play this video, which is pretty goofy actually. It's pretty funny. Basically, you'll be taken into this little mini-map where you have to complete these different challenges. And this is how you unlock karts and tracks. So there are different places marked on the map. This icon means that the challenge is available, and you can drive over to it, you can begin the challenge, and when you complete a challenge, it will show a trophy, meaning that you've completed it. The padlock icon means that the challenge is unavailable until you complete more of the available challenges. As you complete challenges, it'll show you what new karts and tracks you have managed to unlock. So it's pretty fun. I've been going through these, you can see my progress, and I've unlocked a lot of karts and tracks, and the challenges are pretty hard. I actually really recommend you play story mode. It's a great way to learn the game and build your skills in a really sequential way. I've gotten a lot better at the game, and I've unlocked a lot of tracks too at the same time, so. The other big icons here are multiplayer, online, and add-ons, where you can play online or play with multiple people and mod the game with community-made karts and tracks. I haven't gotten a chance to try out any of these yet. Okay, let's move on to the small icons here in the bottom right corner. The most important ones here are the settings, this wrench. You can change things like the video and audio settings, and the username stuff, so that's kind of important to know where that is. To the right of that, you can see a tutorial button. This is probably a good idea to play the tutorial first before you jump right into the game. If this is your first time playing, these two are the high scores and the achievements. So I can go in there and like see my stats, see how well I'm doing. And I really haven't checked out any of the other buttons yet. So that's the gist of how the game works. So now let's set up a few races and play a couple games. Yay! It's the moment you've been waiting for this whole video, hopefully. It's time to play this game. So I'm gonna pick a normal race. And I'm going to choose everyone's favorite penguin as my kart. And let's pick a fun map. This one's a really good one to start out playing, I found. It's unlocked by default too. Let's choose 6 computer competitors. And start. Whoa, sorry about the frame rate. It's only 15 frames per second I discovered. This is the first game that I've actually tried recording. The game actually runs really smoothly. This is all the video capture program I'm still trying to figure out how to use. I guess to become a pro gamer, you gotta start somewhere. So the main thing you wanna do is collect presents for power-ups and avoid the bananas. You guys better watch out for my bowling ball. Oof, I got whacked with a plunger. Now I can't see. Maybe this bubble gum will protect me. Whoa, just missed that bowling ball. You see that basketball coming our way? It's aiming for the lead cart, just like the blue shell in that other racing game that you probably know about. And they explode on impact. That's kind of interesting. Whoa, 2 basketballs. That's actually pretty rare. Pause on this one frame. Did you catch that? I got hit with the bowling ball right as I was about to fire my bowling ball. Hey, second place is pretty good. Now I'm gonna pick a different map. This snow map. This is one of my favorites, and it's been around for a pretty long time too, I think. Let's do 7 karts this time. Wow, my frame rate is much better. I'm learning already. I switched over to using the GPU to run the game, and I changed the capture settings, so I'm already learning things. Look out, guys. I've got a fly swatter. Ouchie! Oh, look, a basketball. Oof! I was looking at the basketball and I didn't see that bowling ball coming. We got a battle of the fly swatters going on over there. Better stay out of that. I'm gonna get you. Bap! Whoa, pro gamer move, bro. Did you catch that? I shot that plunger and it hit the basketball. I didn't even know that was possible. That was so cool. Oh wow, my aim was really off on that one. Yeah, I won! Yeah! But did you see that? I narrowly missed the bowling ball. Alright, let's play one more. I think I'll change my cart to be Toadette. I mean, Godette! I'm gonna also pick my favorite map, the jungle map. This map is so cool. And this is my favorite part of the map, this sideways wall path. Wow, I can't see anything! Boom! I'm okay. Whee! Whoa, that was close. Oh no! Now here comes a basketball! Maybe I can outrun it. Wow, well, apparently it exploded in midair, and I missed it, and I won! Boy, I love this game.
Well, that's it. I hope I helped you get SuperTuxKart installed and running on your computer, and I hope you have a lot of fun playing it. And I hope I didn't lose you in the install process. This game is a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed playing it. I think I'm gonna do more of these. Alright, until next time.